Okay, welcome everyone to our webinar today. My name is Adam Seitz. I am a software consultant at YYTECH, here to guide you through some of the capabilities and benefits of Copilot for Microsoft 365. Thank you for joining us. Today I will be discussing a few different topics on Copilot for Microsoft 365 with a focus on Outlook and Teams. First, I will be giving a brief description of what Copilot for Microsoft 365 is and how it is licensed. Next, I will provide examples of how to use Copilot in Outlook, Teams, and Chat. Finally, I will end the presentation with a Q&A session to address any questions or concerns about the Copilot software. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please leave them in the Q&A section of this event. Copilot for Microsoft 365 is an AI-powered productivity tool designed to enhance workplace efficiency by integrating with Microsoft's suite of applications. It utilizes large language models and the Microsoft Graph to assist users and tasks across apps like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and Teams. Copilot for Microsoft 365 is your AI assistant. Your Copilot is here to assist you. There is a free version of Copilot that comes with Microsoft Office. This version acts as a chat AI bot similar to ChatGPT, allowing you to ask questions or enter prompts and get a response based on what Copilot finds on the internet. The difference between that version of Copilot and Copilot for Microsoft 365 is that Copilot for Microsoft 365 also integrates within your Microsoft ecosystem. This allows for Copilot to be used within Microsoft apps, which we will be showing you today, allows you to reference and ask questions about your data, and it includes increased data protection. Copilot for Microsoft 365 is $30 per month per user and requires a yearly subscription. Now it's time for some hands-on examples. I will now be playing some videos showing how you can use Copilot for Microsoft 365 within Outlook, Teams, and how you can chat with Copilot. First, I will start with how Copilot can help you be more efficient in Outlook by helping you summarize email chains, draft new emails, and utilize email coaching. Hello and welcome to this video demonstration of Copilot for Microsoft 365. Copilot for Microsoft 365 is a smart assistant that can help you in Microsoft Outlook. It can assist you in summarizing email chains, drafting emails, and even modify emails to better fit your audience. First, let's start with how Copilot can help you summarize email chains. After opening an email chain that you want summarized, go ahead and click the Summary by Copilot button above the email. After clicking on that, it will then display a short summary providing details of each of the emails and the context within the email chain you are looking at. These will then show you references to where in the email chain it is pulling that information from. This can be very beneficial when coming back from vacations or holidays and reviewing long email chains that you may have missed, as well as reviewing even single emails that may have a bunch of information. Now let's move on to how Copilot can help you draft emails. After opening up a new email or reply within Outlook, you can open up Copilot in a couple different ways. The first way is by clicking on the Draft with Copilot option in the body of the email. The second option is to click the Copilot button in the menu strip and select the Draft with Copilot option. You can also type in a / within the body of the email and select the Draft with Copilot option to start drafting. After one of those options is completed, a Draft with Copilot pop-up will appear asking you what do you want this email to say. In the example we're showing today, I asked it to draft an email to the project team with a detailed update on the current project status, including milestones achieved, upcoming deadlines, and any issues that need attention. I can then select the Generate button to start generating a draft of this email. After Copilot has finished generating the email, it will keep the Draft with Copilot pop-up on your screen and allow you to review what Copilot has generated for you. You can then type into the Anything You'd Like to Change option and click the arrow if you would like any changes made, or click the button next to Anything You'd Like to Change for some pre-selected options built by Microsoft. In this example, I wanted the draft to also include a reminder about the follow-up meeting next week and mention the new client feedback received. You can now see that my email includes that detail. I also noticed that the email said that our meetings would be held via Zoom. Because we do not hold meetings in Zoom, and instead hold meetings in Teams, I entered any meetings will be held in Teams, not Zoom, and then click the arrow to regenerate the email. After doing so, the email that was generated now says that any meetings will be held via Teams instead of Zoom. I also wanted to make this email a little bit longer, so I selected the button next to the Anything You'd Like to Change and selected the Make It Longer option. You can see that there are more than just that option, with some including make it shorter, make it sound more formal, make it sound more direct, but in this example, I wanted the email to be a tad bit longer. After making that last change, I was pretty happy with the email generated, so I selected the Keep It button to then paste that generated text into my body of my email. From there, I made some slight formatting changes and was ready to send the email. Now, let's go through the Coaching with Copilot option within Outlook. While drafting an email, you can select the Coaching by Copilot option, and Copilot will review what you have written in your email and offer suggestions on how to better reflect tone, reader sentiment, and clarity within your email. You can then use those suggestions to update your email. The previous video was focused on Copilot in Outlook. In this next video, I will show you how Copilot can help you improve meeting notes and summaries and search and summarize chat messages in Teams. Hello and welcome to this video demonstration of how to use Copilot for Microsoft 365 in Teams. First, I will show you how you can use Copilot in Teams to summarize and review chat messages. Once in a Teams chat, you can select the Copilot button in the top right of the screen to open the Copilot window. You can use this window to highlight and summarize chats from a certain time frame, as well as asking Copilot what action items or decisions were made within the chat. In the example here, I asked Copilot to highlight messages from the past week. Copilot then put together a summary of chats from the past week, including references to where in the chat it found those messages. You can click the reference numbers next to the summarizations to take you right to the chat it pulled the information from. I then ask Copilot what my open action items are. Copilot will then search through your messages in the chat and determine what your open action items are based on what have not had direct responses. You can also use Copilot within Teams chat to ask for information about something specific that may have been discussed in the chat. In the example here, I asked if Fred had provided me with information about this document. Copilot then generated a response telling me that there was some discussion and provided me references to where in the chat I could find that information. Copilot for Microsoft 365 can also be used in Teams to assist in your meeting recaps and summarizations. Keep in mind that to use these Copilot features within meetings in Teams, you are required to have recorded and transcribed the meeting. In the example here, I pulled up a meeting and clicked on the recap option in the ribbon. Once in the recap option within the ribbon, Copilot is able to show me a summarization of the meeting that I had attended. Copilot will also generate AI notes that are shown on the right side of the screen that summarize your meeting. You can click on any section of these summaries to take you right to the recorded video location where these things were discussed. It also provides follow-up tasks based on what has been discussed within the meeting. If you are looking for additional information about your meeting, you can also click on the Copilot button in the top right, which will then open a Copilot window. From here, you can ask Copilot to recap the meeting, list action items, suggest follow-up questions, as well as being able to ask specific questions about your meeting that may be company-specific. In the example shown here, I asked Copilot to recap the meeting. Copilot then generated a few points and key topics to look at from the meeting. I also asked Copilot what my action items from this meeting are. Copilot then generated another list of action items from this meeting. These responses from Copilot also have references to which, when clicked, will take you to where in the video these points were discussed. The last video was focused on chats and meetings in Teams. In this next video, I will show you how Copilot can assist you while you are in a meeting in Teams. Hello, and welcome to this video demonstration of how you can use Copilot for Microsoft 365 during your Teams meetings. Let's go ahead and get started. While you are in a Teams meeting, if the meeting is being recorded and transcribed, you can select the Copilot option in the menu ribbon above the meeting. This will then bring up the Copilot pop-up and allow you to ask questions about the meeting while you are in the meeting. In the example here, I was meeting with a coworker about an AI presentation that I had put together based on information that we received from a vendor. Before the meeting was over, I wanted to ask a few questions about what we discussed. I first asked Copilot to recap the meeting so far. Copilot then generated a list of key topics that were discussed during the meeting. It also included references to where these things were discussed within the transcript. I also wanted to know what the action items were from this meeting. This would allow me to discuss the action items with the participants of the meeting. In the example shown here, you can see that it listed action items of reviewing the slideshow for Alan, verifying the documents for Alan, and me, Adam, sending a link to the document to Alan. These are extremely helpful as it helps clarify the action items for the participants of the meeting and helps to remind you of any action items discussed earlier in the meeting. I then asked Copilot what questions are unresolved. This allows you to make sure that any questions that may have been asked and forgotten about are answered before the meeting is completed. In the example here, you can see that Alan asked me how I would prefer to receive the notes. I did not answer the question during the meeting, and so this allows me to answer the question before we end the meeting. You can also ask Copilot to suggest some follow-up questions. Copilot is able to review the transcript and provide potential follow-up questions related to the meeting. Finally, I asked Copilot to generate meeting notes. Copilot then generated meeting notes, including key topics and action items. These can then be discussed within the meeting to make sure that everyone is on the same page for what was discussed and what next steps are. In this final video, I will show you how you can chat with Copilot to find information within your environment. Hello and welcome to this video demonstration of Copilot for Microsoft 365. In this video, I will be showing you how you can use Copilot Chat to find and request information within and about your organization. First, let's start with retrieving information. To get started, you can open up Bing and select the Copilot button in the top left of the window. You can also get here by going to copilot.microsoft.com and selecting the Work option in the top left. From here, you can use the search box in the bottom of the screen to ask Copilot questions. These questions can range from emails that you may have had, chats you may have had, anything about certain people you may communicate with, as well as files, and you can request information from within these sources. In the example here, I asked Copilot to recap a meeting that I had earlier today. You can see that I directly referenced this meeting, helping Copilot to know what meeting I wanted to have recapped. Next, I asked Copilot, what are our company policies on AI? Copilot was then able to retrieve a summarization of our policies, as well as reference where within the Microsoft Graph it found this information. In the summary, it referenced the Microsoft Graph, and if I wasn't sure what that was, I could go ahead and ask Copilot that. So I asked, what is the Microsoft Graph? Copilot then responded with an answer on what the Microsoft Graph is, as well as providing a reference to where I could find more information on this. Copilot Chat can also help you draft emails and other messages using the ability to reference certain people and meetings. In the example here, I asked Copilot to write a follow-up email to Alan Benjamin regarding the meeting AI at our company meeting to drive continued progress, group by action items, unresolved issues, and next steps. Copilot then generated a draft email for me to use. Now let's discuss how to request company info from Copilot Chat. If I was new to the company and was curious when Yo and Yo started, I could ask Copilot, when did Yo and Yo start? Copilot will then generate a response letting me know that Yo and Yo was founded in 1923, as well as providing me with additional information about the founding and including references to where it found this information. In another example, I asked Copilot in a couple sentences what makes Yo and Yo different from other companies. Copilot then responded, providing me with an answer as well as references to where I can find that information. Finally, I wanted to ask Copilot something specific to our group, maybe a term or a phrase that may be tossed around that I'm not sure what it means. In the example here, I asked Copilot, what is a BRD? Copilot then responded by giving me a summary of what a BRD is. You can use Copilot for Microsoft 365 Chat to keep you caught up with your emails, messages, objectives, and help you stay on top of the game at your workplace. Now that we have gone through some examples in Outlook, Teams, and Chat, I will be answering any questions you may have. If you have a question, please leave it in the Q&A section of this event. Okay. So, let's see, we have a question here. Do I need to purchase Copilot for all my employees, or can I get a license for individual employees? That's a great question. Copilot is licensed per user per month on an annual subscription. So basically, this allows you to purchase licenses for one person, 5 people, or your entire staff if you'd like. Okay, let's see. We have another question here. How do I know that my information is secure to the network and not going to the web? Your data is secure when using Copilot for Microsoft 365 because it only accesses and displays data that you have permission to in your environment. So, for example, I can ask Copilot, hey, can you get me a recap of my messages from this morning? But I can't ask, hey, can you give me a recap of my coworkers' messages this morning? Also, Copilot does not store or cache any data outside of it, and any prompts, responses, and data that you enter or receive are not used to train the large language models that Copilot uses. So it ensures your information is private and secure. Okay. Got another question here. Can you use Copilot for File Explorer? Okay, that's a good question. Let me think here. So, from what I understand by that, you mean to search for files within your local system, potentially within your File Explorer. Um, it's kind of partially able to do that. Now, you can ask for information on files that you may also be able to access through Explorer. However, it does not have access to your local files. So it does have access to files that you have in your OneDrive and your SharePoint, though. Let's see here. Got another question here. Where can Copilot pull information from? So I think that kind of goes in a similar route of asking, can you use it for File Explorer, as well as a response I just got to that was um, able to assist in email attachments. And so the answer to that in terms of where it can pull information from, that includes your SharePoint Online, your OneDrive, your Teams chats, your emails, your calendar, your meetings, and even right from your contacts. So I earlier mentioned the Microsoft Graph. So that is kind of what the Microsoft Graph consists of. So Copilot accesses content and context through your Microsoft Graph, um, which is what it uses to generate your responses. Okay, let's see here. All right. We have another question here. What data on our network does Copilot have access to, and what can it present to me? So again, Copilot is able to access data from your SharePoint, your OneDrive, your Teams, your emails, all that stuff within the Microsoft Graph. And it can present you the information based on the permissions that you have within your organization. So basically ensures that you only see the things that you are authorized to see. Okay, let's see here. All right, well, we have time. Oh, let's see here. Oh, we got another question here. Um, the question is the cost $30 a month or $30 a year? So that's a great question. It is $30 a month per user. So if you have two users, it would be 60 for that month, but it does require a yearly subscription. So you are locked in for a year, but it is broken out into your monthly 30 per month. So good question. Okay. All right. I'm going to take one more question. All right. Here it is. How do I get started with Copilot for Microsoft 365? Good question. To get started, go ahead and reach out to your account executive. And if you're not sure who that is, feel free to contact me. My email is right here on the screen. You'll also have access to contact me through, if you want to review the meeting or the webinar, you can access it through our YouTube channel, or the individual videos will also be posted there. But to get started, reach out to your account executive. And if you're not sure who that is, go ahead and contact me, and I would be happy to guide you in the right direction. Okay, thank you everyone for your questions. If I did not get to your question today, or you think of one later, be sure to email me or your account executive, and we'll get right back to you on that. So thank you everyone who joined this webinar. We have so much more to share with you about Copilot. Be sure to look for future invites for future webinars. Also, in the coming days, we will be sending you all the information that you saw here today. Thanks again, and have a great rest of your day.